Welcome back, everyone. This is Getting to Know You, an Owners Club exclusive podcast. Today I am featuring John Rodriguez. Hi, John.
Hi, thank you for having me. I really appreciate this.
Absolutely. And if you're watching this right now on YouTube, please go down and click subscribe, give us a like on this video, and leave some comments for John. Tell us about yourself. We'd love to learn to get to know you and who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So I live in California. It's like the bane of real estate investment. And every time I tell people that, they cringe. But, it is beautiful and we are not without our flaws, but I love it. We're in Northern California in the Bay Area, with my wife and two boys, Leo and Shai, 6 and 3. So we're pretty busy. My wife is an interior designer. She's been doing it for over 20 years, mostly in the Bay Area. She does some ground up construction and fix and flips. And then I am a graphic designer currently working in tech on a marketing team. We've always wanted to do real estate together. Real estate has always been something that I've been interested in. Really excited when we came across Face's community sub 2 because she's been in real estate. It was kind of a no-brainer for us that we would, start working on this together.
Was she in real estate when you met her?
She worked for a Spanish interiors company called Porcelanosa. So she was mostly doing sales at the time, but she had been doing ground up construction and fix and flips prior to meeting her. And she's been doing a lot of flips since we got back there, since we got together. Kind of like when she left that job, we moved to LA. She left that job and started her own business again, doing interior design and worked with a lot of flippers to do their projects.
Is there a lot of opportunity in the Bay Area for fix and flip?
It's endless because there's not really any space for new construction. And so unless you're kind of really on the outskirts where we actually live, there's new construction. We're kind of like on the very edge of the bay. But everywhere else, like for example, the South Bay, San Jose area, Silicon Valley, they only had about 3,000 new construction permits last year. And this is in an area with like, I think over a million, 1.4 million people. So the new construction is very limited. So most of what you're seeing is flips, right? People are buying these older properties. A lot of them were built in the 50s, 60s, 70s. They turned over a few times. And so you're seeing them actually being flipped and sold for multiple millions. And the neighborhood right next to her parents' house, these properties were like, this is where we need to get our flip because they're selling for 1.8 to 2.5 million and they're super small homes. I mean, you're talking 1,400, 1,500 square foot properties built 50 years ago. But I mean, they're absolutely beautiful. And people have the money. That's the thing. Everybody reacts to the prices of California. And the thing that I also like to remind them is like, yes, and we also make a lot of money in California. People can afford this, right? And so people get sticker shock when they're not from California. Like, oh, $5 a gallon for gas. And it's like, yeah, I get that. But also like you look at the pay difference for the same type of job, right? And so it's not as out there for us.
Yeah, I'm actually from Temecula.
Oh, that's
I
right. I heard you mention that on Pace's Sunday call, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Temecula, came out to Nashville, so we are still paying in the high twos for gas.
Yeah. Which is incredible. It's like I remember that and I think it was in high school the last time that it was $2 a gallon. And yeah, we just went to Dallas and it was $2.50 a gallon. And we're just like, wow, this is wild that it's still there. I think most of it's taxes in California, to be honest. So
Yeah, definitely. So walk us up to Squat Up and joining the Owners Club. What were you working on before Squat Up and what inspired you to join the community?
yeah, so I'm going to even go a little bit further back than that. I didn't join Sub 2 until August or September of last year. So I was very new and I actually haven't done a real estate deal. I take that back. I joined Michael Manantikanian's fractional raise. So that's like the only real estate that I'm a part of outside of like our primary house. And so we joined Sub 2 because we've been wanting to invest and we've been looking at investment properties. But the thing that's always held us back is like, ooh, like you got to put 20% down. And is that the right thing for us right now to put that much money? And then looking at the cash flow and like what we're going to get out of it. And it's like, yeah, we're going to put probably 100K or more into a property and we're not going to get that money back for a really long time. If ever, we might have to refi or sell the property. And so once we came across Pace, through a series of fortunate events, I don't know, I kind of talked to my wife about it and she was like, this feels like a scam. And I'm like, here's the deal. Like it's 10 grand. I'm going to spend this 10 grand on something. We might as well invest it in something that has the potential to pay us back. Right? So as soon as the tickets for Squad Up went on sale, they were, I think, they were at a discounted rate. And I was like, I'm buying this. We're going to go. And, we have 2 kids. We don't know, are they going to be sick? Are we going to be able to get childcare? But I was just like, we're going to place this bet. We're going to go. And so fast forward to Squad Up and we're at Squad Up. And it wasn't until like after Squad Up, I was watching, I think in Owners Club, watching one of the older videos. And Pace was talking about, being around people who speak your language. And Squad Up was the first time that I felt like people understood the things I was saying. I like talked to my friends and my family and they're like, why do you want to do this? Like you have a great job, you have a beautiful house. Like why are you not satisfied? Why do you want these other things? Why do you have all these side hustles? And nobody really understood. And then it was like at Squad Up, I recognized that being around the right people was really the most important thing to creating success in, building a business or becoming an investor. And so when Owners Club was pitched, I just felt this like calling. And for me, I don't know if you're religious or have any faith in God, but over the last 2 years, we've really created this foundational faith. I was raised Christian. My grandmother was the most Christian person that I know. But I never really like bought into it per se. And through a whole series of events with moving to this area, our oldest son, daycare, school, we found our son going to a Christian daycare and now at a Christian private school. Because basically the community we live in has got terrible schools and we were not going to put him in the public school system there and California public schools. I'll say enough with that. And so it was just like all these things happened and I was like, hey, there's too many coincidences for me to ignore this, belief. And so we've been going to church and a lot of what had been the services, the sermons in the weeks leading up to Squad Up was about hearing God, hearing God's calling. And so when we were there, I just kept feeling this pull. And my wife was actually sick. She got food poisoning. So all day Saturday, she was in the room. She wasn't able to attend. And so I was there by myself listening to this Owners Club stuff going on. And I just kept feeling this pulling. And I went to go get in line. It was a super long line. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. We haven't bought any real estate. I shouldn't make this investment yet. And for the whole rest of the night, I just kept feeling this like pulling of like, I need to do this. I need to invest in myself. I need to take this risk. And in the evening, Pace was like, hey, we still have spots available. So I went and talked to the guy and I was like talking to him. And I wasn't going to make the leap. And I literally had my card out, getting ready to pay for it. And in my head, I was like just going through all the pros and cons, the what ifs, the should I not. And the question that I asked myself was, am I ready to spend another year not creating the life that I want to give my kids, that I want to give my wife? Like, am I okay going a whole nother year? Because this isn't going to open up for another year. Am I okay going a whole nother year exactly where we're at? Or do I want to make this decision today and put myself in a position where I have to take action because the investment is such a big investment. It's like, okay, I'm not going to make this investment and not do the things. And thinking about that, I just made that decision. Like, I don't want to waste another year spinning my wheels. I've tried to do so many things over the years, and I just don't. Like, my oldest is 6, and he's starting to ask for these things and these experiences, and I didn't want to wait any longer. So that was the final moment when I was like, all right, and I handed him my card. And then I had to go tell my wife that I made this big investment. And I thought she was going to kill me. She took it really well, actually, but at the end of the day, she supported me, but she also told me like, hey, like this can't be like the other things you've done, right? Like if you're going to spend this amount of money, you have to really do it. And so since then, it's been life changing. The connections, the opportunity. I had the opportunity to go present a deal at Dealmaker, and that was absolutely amazing. Now Pace knows me on a first and last name basis. He always calls me by my last name every time he talks about me, and that was the opportunity that I was wanting. So yeah, it's already paying dividends.
I'm going to rewind a little bit back to your family. You have a great job, you have a great house. Isn't it interesting through their paradigm? That's the end all be all, but you're hungry for more, right?
Yeah,
You're a dreamer, you have goals and aspirations, and you want to provide more. So you're definitely in the right place.
yeah, yeah. And everybody that I've talked to in Owners Club, like every conversation that I've had, makes me realize that like I may be here, but there's like people are here and here and here, and there is so much more that I could be doing, right? And Chad Choquette, he pitched his deal at Dealmaker with me, and he's doing a whole small town renovation, revitalization, and building a pizza shop and a miniature golf, and this place for people to come and spend time. And I'm like, I'm over here buying a landscape company, like I'm asking for $100,000 and he's asking for $2 million. And to me, $100,000 was big, right? It's like, who in their right mind would give me $100,000? It makes no sense. And then he's over here asking for 2 million. And I'm like, man, like I need to think bigger. Like there's so much bigger things to be done. And so yeah, being in these rooms with these really rock stars, it's been life changing already, and it's only been a few months.
Yeah. And that $2 million ask, the cultivating of who you are to become the person that can ask for 2 million, like that's what's going to transpire. So coming back to that moment of standing there and looking at Chad going, wow, to then maybe 6 months or 12 months down the road, you're back and you're asking for 2 million like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like becoming the person that you need to be that can ask for 2 million.
Yes.
That's the evolution and the growth that is so exciting.
Yeah. And it's all a mindset, right? It's like my mindset looking at $100,000. Pace asked that question. How many people are in your phone right now that you could call and would fund a $5 million deal tomorrow? Right. And it's like, you think about that, and his connection that he was talking about has dozens of people who could do that. And it's like, oh, like I literally only know like Pace and Jamil are probably the only people that I got 2 people on my phone book. But the fact that there's levels to that, Pace has dozens, and his mentor has even more than that. And it makes you realize that like there is so much money out there, so much wealth, so much money to be made, and so many people with money looking to invest in other people. And because I haven't had that exposure, $100,000 seems like a big ask. In reality, after raising that money and how easy it was, and I even mentioned this to Pace on Dealmaker, the next time that I need to come looking for money, I know the reason that I went SBA on this acquisition was because I didn't think that I could raise the $500,000 that I needed to put down on it to seller finance the rest. But now I know I can. Like, I don't want to say it's easy, but that's easy, right? It's like it's $500,000. It's not 5 million. And so yeah, it's all just a mindset. And you kind of go through the process and you have the exposure to the other people who are doing it, and you realize like, oh, this can be done. And once you know something can be done, then it becomes easy, right? It's just a process at that point. And before you know it can be done, it's just that limiting belief. I don't think I can do this. So once you cross that hurdle, it's off to the races.
Absolutely. What are you working on right now? You did this raise for 100,000. It sounds like it was 500,000 total, right? SBA. So what is that project that you're working on?
Yeah, so it's a landscape construction company in Silicon Valley in San Jose area. We did the SBA financing. The purchase price was actually 838,000, and then we needed to bring total with all the bank fees and everything is like a $925,000 loan. So we needed 10% down for that. So that's what the raise was, 92,400. And our plan with that is to stabilize it. I mean, the guy's been running the business for almost 40 years, and there's zero systems. Everything is still printed on paper, and he literally like sticks them up on his wall, all of his different projects. And we want to bring that into the 21st century, automate, digitize, simplify, streamline. And once we do that, probably that first 3 to 6 month period doing that, my wife's going to be the operator. We're going to hire an operator to replace her so we can step out of the business, run it from the highest level, and then focus on a couple different areas. And some of that's going to be more business acquisition in that same kind of field, looking to do a roll-up strategy. And then we're going to really go focus heavily on high cash flowing real estate assets. So RV parks, multifamily, and boutique hotels is the thing that we really want to do. That's like my wife's dream since she got into interior design. So that's kind of like the three areas we're going to focus on.
Will you be doing those in California, or do you have other areas you want to focus on?
We have other areas where, we obviously with the boutique hotel, we want it to be kind of in a bigger city, so of course there's like the Austins, the Nashvilles, the South Florida area, but we even really like some of the places like North Carolina. The company I work for has an office in North Carolina, and I've been there, absolutely love it. It's a beautiful state. I think for our first one, we're probably targeting like a South Lake Tahoe or maybe like a San Diego area, even like kind of an LA area. But personally, I'd want to do South Lake because I'm a big snowboarder. I have a timeshare up there, and I would love to have an investment in that area that we can make really beautiful. And there's a lot of really old, like cabin style hotels, motels, and there's only been, I think, two that have been updated to like boutique hotels, and they're just really beautiful. So I think it'd be a great area.
And when you visit your property to go snowboarding, that then becomes a write-off, right? You're
Absolutely.
just visiting your property.
Absolutely. And we love going in the summer. The boys love it. It would kill multiple birds with one stone, as Pace likes to say. So it'd be the ideal first location. That being said, I mean, we are open to a lot of areas, kind of the bigger cities and some of the bigger states, or near like a national park area would make sense. There has to be some sort of draw for the visitors. I think is the biggest thing. One of the things that we've talked a lot about is seasonality, right? So there's a lot of areas in the country that are really only nice for like spring and summer, like late spring to early fall. And then kind of in the wintertime, it dies off because the weather changes. And we really want to find a place that's kind of year round and not just a seasonal. That's why a Lake Tahoe works, because there's the ski resorts, right? So those are the kind of things we're looking for. Does it have a lake? If it's not in a big city, is there like lake or water access for the summer months? Is there ski resort access for the winter months? And so if it kind of has that seasonal draw, then that would work for us.
Perfect segue into my next question. Someone is watching this video and they're really excited about what you're working on. How can they bring value to you?
That's a great question. The term that I coined for deal maker when I was thinking like, how do I present this? And it goes back to my Mount Everest, is in order to execute on my Everest, there's kind of two key things that I need in the beginning. And of course, those would scale up into kind of like business units. But in the beginning, single individuals. The thing that I'm really in need of is deal finders and deal funders. And so obviously the deal finders, they don't have to be under contract, but if they find a seller who is open to creative financing for any of those asset classes, it could be business, RV, boutique hotels, multifamily. I'm good with the negotiations. I'm a big numbers guy. I love doing the underwriting, working out the numbers, having the conversations and really negotiating with them. It's something I truly enjoy. So people finding just the opportunity and of course open to wedging them into the deal for equity, giving them some cash if they're looking for, for cash flow versus the equity. And then deal funders, obviously, to buy these bigger assets, you need people who have the money to buy them. I have money for some smaller assets, but not these big multi-million dollar assets. I think that's kind of the two biggest things. I would love to grow my network of people looking for deals and my network of people who are funding deals. And ideally, people who are looking for private money to be private money partners. I think we'd rather have partners than lenders, and also really interested in doing like a fractional type raise, bringing the community in on the partnership.
How do you like to be contacted?
Email is probably the best. I'm not the best at responding to text messages. As I mentioned, I have two young boys, and so I get busy with them. And I just forget to text, and usually it takes me about a day to get back to people. I don't answer my phone. It's a bad habit that I need to get out of now that I'm doing real estate investing, but I don't answer my phone. So if you're going to call me, please leave a message. I promise I will call you back. If you don't leave a message, I think you're spam and I'm not going to give you a call back. So if you want to make money and you want to give me a call, just leave a message and I'll get back to you. But email would be the best. And that email address is on my Blink card, which I have shared with you. And I don't know if you're going to link that, but if not, it is lsrlegacyholdings@gmail.com.
I will share your link in the show notes as well as the email that you just verbalized. So thank you so much for being here. Everyone, please leave some comments, hit subscribe. Let's edify John and bring him some value. Thanks so much for being here, John. I'll see you next week.
This was amazing.
I'm glad you could be here.